Stop the press. Like, what in the world? you know, I love it when, this is what I love about the Voice Radio is that we got so many different styles of music and so many wonderful, talented, gifted people that come through the studio. And, I got to thank Beverly. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, Duke.
It's good to have it's good to have you back on the show. Now, you also brought a special guest with us. Tell us a little bit about your guest.
Yes, I did. I brought the keyboardist extraordinaire.
Oh, here we go.
Wesley Stephenson. Absolutely. Wesley, I've known since about 2003.
2003, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a good minute, yeah.
And Wes runs a music academy, actually, in Virginia Beach. Want to talk to us briefly about that?
Well, yeah. Well, first of all, it's an honor to be here with you guys. It's an honor to play with the great Beverly Baker. It's an honor to be on this radio show. Thank you guys for having me on. And I actually started a music school back in 2007.
Okay.
And I've been teaching some music there ever since. But yeah. I mean. It's been a great journey. We have grown leaps and bounds since we first started. So yeah,
absolutely.
So, yeah.
All right, so I got to hit you guys with a pretty tough question. You know, people always ask me, make sure you send us questions. I'm like, all right, and I never do. This is Unplugged, and we really want to get the intimate side of the musician. We want to get intimate with you guys. So. What is music?
I believe that music is God's voice, and He uses different genres of music. I was thinking about this, actually, how that music is just the foundation for everything, I feel like.
Yeah.
Music can change someone's life. Music can bring joy. Music can bring sadness. Music has so much power. And I believe that's God's voice. That's how God can actually speak to us when words maybe don't work. A song might just do it.
Now we got to know that's true. I remember. I remember being. I remember being in the old church, and sometimes when they would, I remember the moans and the groans. Oh man. And they just be like, oh man, I miss it. Everybody got all civilized on us all of a sudden. What about you? What is music to you?
Well, music, first of all, is like one of those things that's been so hard to define from people since the beginning of time. I guess technically it's, rhythms and melody and all that stuff, but yeah, music is, God's tool for us to worship. I believe that we were created to worship, and I believe that God made the vehicle of music to worship Him through. So it's a very mysterious art form, but yeah.
Right. I don't think it's a choice. I think it's more embedded in our humanity that we have to have music. Because, when you got a bunch of, I think about when people are going through the fact that a song can bring that healing, the fact that even when I think about David casting the devil out, playing the harp, and to be totally honest with you, I've even done experiments on my children. When they were babies, I used to play classical music, and it was almost like medicine, like clockwork. They're out, and there was the whole, this is the thing, it didn't just affect the kids, the whole house would be filled with peace.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I get creative and all the types of all types of thoughts start coming. And I'm like, we're gonna change the world.
Yeah.
All because of a song. Now, before we go any further, I want to make sure we get a little background. We, give you guys. I want people to know about your background, your history. So let's start with you, Beverly.
Well, it's a long time ago. Let's see.
Stop playing.
All right, dude. I'm actually from Hampton. I started playing when I was 6 years old. I started playing violin. That was 1963, so you can do the math. And this was a time, actually, I'll just be honest with you, where many black children did not play string instruments.
Right.
You just didn't see little black kids carrying violin cases. So I didn't really have any kind of role model at that time, but I was like, yeah, sure, And I started at age 6, and I had many, many wonderful teachers that gave money back for lessons, gave instruments, gave their time, gave their love. I mean, that I was just blessed like that. And years forward, I studied. I went to England when I was 13 and 14 years old. I've just had wonderful opportunities, played at the Smithsonian Institute. I've just been, wonderful places. And then when I did go to college, I went to the pre-college division of the Juilliard School of Music. And I got my degree from University of Missouri. And I've been with the Virginia Symphony since 1983. So I'm in my 30th year with them right now. I'm in my 16th year as a first chair player, which means that I actually lead the section. And we don't have any hardcore facts, but we think that I might be the only black woman in a professional orchestra that's actually leading a string section. So that's a whole lot of history for me. And I think God has really had me. God has had me in the right place at the right time. He has put people in my life. It's just been wonderful.
Yeah, and it's the reason why I wanted I wanted people to hear that is because I think about when we there's so many stories and biographies of great artists that come out, and we really feel connected to them, and we love it because we can almost. Like watching these movies, like what was the movie where Ray with Jamie Foxx? You feel connected to the musician, and you can almost see where the music took them.
Yes.
That the music took them somewhere, and it's an amazing concept to see that it's not. We're not talking about talent. We're just talking about the passion for the music, and them allowing themselves to be led to these levels of greatness, and to see that. You're doing it and you're being brave. What I love about it is the fact that you've shown how you're not just using it in the church. And this is what I'm really trying to help people understand is that music is it's like math. It's a universal language, and where you don't need words, you can just that can connect you to so many different people. Like I said, you said you went to England and things like that. I mean, that's powerful. And it's the reason. One of the main reasons it's so inspirational is because a lot of times when I think about the artists that can't find themselves, musically, and they try to fit into this bubble and genres and all that stuff. When you really understand what music is, this is how I know who a true musician is. The music takes them to where they're going to be. They allow that freedom, and it seems like you've done that. That you didn't know where you were going to do. You didn't.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, many, many times. I really did not know till I was a senior in high school, like my very last month. And I finally told Dad, it says, I guess I'll go into music. But I mean, I really waited a long time to actually say, yes.
And I think you ended up playing with people in different genres of music, correct? So it wasn't just classical.
No. I was talking with Wes. I do feel like that all genres of music now stem from the basics. Bach and those guys set the foundation. Everything that you hear now from contemporary Christian, R&B, jazz, the foundation is Bach, Beethoven, and Mozart. I just have to put it out there.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, Wes?
I agree with that 100%. It's like we have different words, but they're all built from the same alphabet. So whether it's jazz, whether it's pop, whether it's classical, it all comes down to that, to that same basic, alphabet. So definitely agree.
Well,
with
let
that.
me ask you. Let's get into your story. What's your background? How did you end up falling in love with music?
Well, I am reliant on my mother because she said that I fell in love with music at age 5, and she would take lessons from my choir director down the street, and then the story goes that I would listen to her practice and I would play the same song without the lessons. So
Y'all robbed that dude. Y'all was hustling. Y'all knew what y'all was doing.
So right then she kind of got me in lessons right then. Now I didn't have the same I guess the same love for playing growing up. I really enjoyed playing, but I had like a different kind of teacher where we did classical. I wanted jazz, I wanted pop, I wanted all the
mainstream.
Yeah. So I taught a lot of those contemporary things that I use now myself, but I'm very thankful that I got the foundational elements like the scales, the theory, all that stuff really plays
Yes.
a big factor in where I am today. So
Now, when you look at, especially as far as being in high school and stuff like that, because both of you, like you said, you were one of the only black kids walking around with a viola. Well, I know that I'll say the 80s and 90s, it became real contemporary. I mean, the hip hop movement came out, metal was out, and you did kind of watch classical or more of the like the skillful playing kind of get pushed to the side. How did that affect you guys with all the genre transitions? Did it become like part of your arsenal, or did you see where the attention being split in half? How did that affect you guys?
I'll just say I've learned more probably from being on a praise and worship band these past 10 years than I've learned maybe in my whole life. Wes, he was there, and there were many things, because I was trained to just read music, okay? If it wasn't on the page, don't do it. And so now here I have this, really, if it's not on the page, don't play it. And here now, all of a sudden, I can play as I want to. I can continue to play any notes that, fit, of course. And I don't know, I've learned so much as far as just how to just flow with the spirit and things like that. I was telling Wes, actually, you can be on one song in church for like 20 minutes. One song, okay?
It's almost like...
yeah, that's what church is.
Exactly. It's almost like we've seen a shift the past few years, is that, growing up, yes, everything was on the music, everything was in the book. But, right now for my church, I don't play a single note on the staff. Everything is, okay, let's do this. We might do it in this key. We might not.
Right.
We might put this song in after it or before it. So it's very spontaneous. And I think that's a skill that's needed today is it's being spontaneous.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, we're going to hear some of that spontaneity. Because I want to see what happens when you guys just vibe together.
This is going to be actually an electric guitar solo done on viola, probably the one and only time.
Wait. You got to tell the story first. Tell the story.
Well, we were recording Freedom's Fellowship's first CD called Free to Worship, and it called for a big electric solo, and I don't know what happened, but something kind of fell through, and so Lauren Barton at the time, who was doing the CD, came to me and says, why don't you do that on viola? And of course, I shied away from that, like, what, an electric on viola? You've got to be crazy. And he actually put me and Wes in a room and said, work on it. Get it right. I remember that.
Yep.
Remember?
We were in there for about maybe an hour and a half.
Yes, we were about an hour in there working out this solo. It's like, it was the most, I was so stressed about it. It's like, Lord, help me with this. But we actually came up with something. Wes helped, and I put in some of my ideas. And so this solo that you're going to hear is where I've combined my string training along with some improvisational.
Let's do it.
Skills.
Let's do it. And if you're listening, you guys go ahead and get ready. Now, out there, if you're just listening, I'm telling you, I want to challenge you all to try different styles of music. Get out there and learn the history of your music. I want to encourage you out there to see where things have come from, because music has the ability to connect you to different cultures, different people around the world. And I've met so many different people and been able to form so many good relationships just because they found out I knew who a certain artist was that they didn't expect me to know. Because, I'm black, so everybody expect me to know all the rappers. So when they found out that I knew who was some metal artist, it was a shock. But let's do this thing. So much fun. Oh man! Now, when you guys are, where do you guys go in your mind in that place. Now this is what I'm, I know this is a generation where everybody's about pressing buttons and, making the beats. And guys, I'm not knocking you because I know you're feeling your music and things like that. But what does it feel like when it's coming from you? Not just pressing a button, but there has to be a difference.
Boy, that's a hard one.
Well, for me, I can't really afford to slip into too deep of thought, because I'm thinking about where Bev's going to go next. I'm thinking about where the worship leader is going to go next. So I always have to keep my mind focused on all the technical aspects of it. So I can't afford to kind of slip into this, where am I kind of a feeling. But I know what you mean. I always kind of reflect afterwards, like after I hear it back for the first time, then I can actually,
Well, and I see your responsibility, especially when you're playing with other artists.
Yeah.
You're kind of like the drummer right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, I was just going to say, I'm actually thinking of fingers, bow speed, where I'm going, like that. So yeah, I'm thinking, but then afterwards, like Wes says, then I can say, oh wow. Okay.
So then maybe in private is when you do more of your intimate.
Yes, absolutely.
Intimate.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So when you're playing before an audience, then it's like, well, wow, that is a lot of responsibility because you're giving them the experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're operating more on being a responsible side of the music and like you said, the more of a technical side. So you almost have to. So basically, your intimacy with your music is mainly when you guys are alone. That's when.
Yeah.
That's when
Yes.
Wow.
And most of my practice is done at home. So when I go, on stage, and these people have paid money, okay.
Okay.
So
I understand.
I can't afford to slip into a wrong note here. I miscounted there, or I play. I just
That's a lot
can't
of
do it.
responsibility.
I can't do it.
Yeah. And like I'm glad that you said that because if you are feeling like your calling is to be an artist, I do want you to know that it's not just about being. Well, it's about being free and expressing yourself, but there's still some structure involved in that. Is that fair to say?
Oh, yeah.
Because I know a lot of people just say, well, I'm creative. I should be able to, and that creates a short career.
Yeah. I deal with that a lot with my students. I have a lot of creative students, but I'm trying to get them to understand that it's not just creativity alone that gets you, to be successful. You got to have discipline. You got to practice.
Yes.
You got to study.
And it seems like, Beverly, you've had to teach yourself how to unstructure yourself, and you value both sides, the balance of it.
Yes, I would say that actually being on the team has helped me be actually more expressive with Bach now. Because I'm really coming from a really deep space now versus where when I first did Bach, I'm just learning notes and this rhythm here or whatever. But now I'm like, okay, this is Bach. This is worship as well. So I just want this to be, wonderful.
Yeah. Now, as far as a preference of a genre, as of right now, what do you guys have right now?
Boy.
Uh-oh.
That's really deep.
I'll wait till Beverly answers.
Well, I don't know. I, of course, being that I do Mozart and those guys most of the time, that's where I'm, of course, going to lean. But I appreciate all genres of music.
Yeah.
I love, our R&B, jazz, gospel. I love it all. I really, really do. And I think it's because I've had that training in knowing what is involved. As far as learning, whether it be keys or whatever, it's like, okay, I can really, and even some country western artists, okay, I'm just gonna put it out there. There's some wonderful country western artists out there, and
No, but I get you. You're absolutely right. What about you?
Well, I can appreciate most forms of music. It's a struggle to actually listen to some country western. I can't
Wes,
lie.
come on.
I can't lie. It's a struggle.
Wes, you have to be open-minded now. Come on.
But yeah, see, it always shocks people when I say this. But, if I were to pick one genre to listen to, I really appreciate some nice, like, James Brown, some, like, old school James Brown.
Wow.
Some old school George Clinton. Now,
I get it.
I wish it was, like, a little cleaner.
I get it.
But yeah, I just love that beat, that bass player and that guitar.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm about to say this on my on the show. But for me, it's the Doors.
Yeah.
I love the way they this kind of weird Latin drum rhythm, and they challenge. When everything was being more of like a rock thing, they challenged music in such a unique way. And I love, first of all, I miss solos. I miss live bands and all this stuff because, in R&B, hip hop, and even in metal, everything's more about a radio edit.
Yeah.
And so it's real short, so you don't get to see the drum solos. You don't. So when you said James Brown, I can totally relate.
Yeah.
Because you never see the same song performed twice.
No.
And what are some of the artists that you've got to play with, Beverly?
That's been a long list. We've talked about this. It's a long list. Golly, Rod Stewart, Gladys Knight.
Yo-Yo Ma.
Yo-Yo Ma. I mean, I can so many. Who
And then from so many different genres, they're all over the place.
Yes, Amy Grant,
Donnie McClurkin,
Tony Bennett, Donnie McClurkin. There are just so many. Johnny Mathis. The list is very long.
And okay, now I need the listeners to understand, when you understand the structure, then you have more options. And I guess this is what I'm repeating myself over and over when I'm saying, because I know you said that you're worried, you're trying to get this message to the people that's not just about creativity.
Right.
You have more options when you have the foundation.
Yes.
Because now you can get a phone call from so and so, and you can get a phone call from Rod Stewart, and get a phone call from Jay-Z wants you to. You're like, all right, you can get a phone. You got options, and I think you also take off the limitations of expression. A lot of people think that if you're an actor, then you can't express yourself through music, or if you're a musician, we like to put things in a box. And I really love seeing God be able to break people out. Like when you did that solo, I could actually hear the guitar riff.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I can actually hear where this was going, but I would rather hear it by you doing it. Now, I made a terrible mistake the last time you were on the show, Beverly.
Oh my goodness.
And I called you. I said that was a violin.
Oh, that's a big mistake.
Man.
Can you
That's
please?
mistake.
This is like, because the look you gave me, I remember was like, that's the last time you're going to say that.
I actually play the viola. That's spelled Viola, and it's very much like the violin. It's a little bit larger, plays a little bit lower tone.
Right.
So I played violin probably 10 years. And when I was about maybe 13 or 14, my teachers, who were very wonderful, said, I think you might like viola. And at first it was, oh, no. But when they actually got me a really good instrument, it made all of the difference in the world.
Okay, so, so it plays a little bit lower, but my thing is, if you play viola, can you play violin? Is it it's the same? So it's about pitch then?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Now, Wes, we were talking earlier about the situation between the keyboard and the piano, which is funny because on the last show that you were on, we actually talked about how me and you remember we said how in the 80s was a rough time because the keyboards came out and everybody was on the violins.
Yes,
and it was strings. Like the strings on the violin. But we were talking about, you said how you really do love the piano more. You just can't carry that around everywhere.
Right.
But how do you feel about playing the keyboard versus piano?
Well, both have its merit. For the stuff I do, I can appreciate the lighter keys on a keyboard, because I'm not breaking my fingers if I want to do a slide or something like that. But if I'm doing like more intimate worship, there's just nothing that beats a nice grand piano with those fully weighted keys. Not much can really compete with that. So.
And so now, which one's better to start off with? If you start off on piano,
I would definitely recommend starting out with the piano to build up those fingers. Yeah. You got to have something to kind of to work your way up with. Right. So the piano's a better start.
Now, how do you? I guess. Well, first of all, do you recommend getting lessons? First of all, how do you find out what your instrument is? Let's start there. Like, how do you find out what instrument is your calling?
I don't know. That's tough. They do offer in school strings, but not till 5th grade, which I think is too late. Yeah. I feel like around age 5 and 6 is when I was 6. Some kids start as young as 4, but it's hard to know. I think most string players started on piano. I would say that
is really cool.
Keys is the foundation for all instruments. I would say that.
Yes, what you're saying, that it's a superior instrument. Is that
Well,
what you're
no,
saying?
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
You have to listen back. I
okay.
didn't say
Yes.
superior.
Oh, okay,
I
my
just
bad.
said
I love it.
it was just the foundation,
Oh, okay.
Wes. Please,
Okay.
please listen carefully. Yes.
My bad.
I definitely see the competitive spirit. Yeah.
Speaking of notes and Bach, I like to do a little unaccompanied Bach right now, so you can kind of hear.
Yeah, let's do it.
This is my world we're going to go to right now.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Oh man.
Now that Bach solo actually helped me in playing that guitar solo that you heard earlier.
Wow, that's so
because
awesome.
a lot of the technical things that I had to do with Bach, I could then transfer to the electric solo.
Well, let's do this. I want to see let's make this thing happen. I want to see some magic happen.
Oh, dear.
Like, hey, come on, don't do that. Don't get all scared now. I want to see what happens when you just kind of connect. You know what I mean? And we can wait however long it takes. But I just know how beautiful it is. I love seeing musicians get together. So let's just see some freestyle going on.
I will call upon you.
Okay, let's do it.
Was that vibrato at the end?
Yes. That was very good, Duke. You've been studying,
That's
right?
vibrato at the end.
Absolutely.
Now with everything that's happening musically, as far as the younger generation, they want to listen to everything's hype, and which is cool. That's their generation. Where do you see where the connection comes in? Because like earlier you said that everything came from, but in a detailed way. Like, how does that connection happen, or was it more like an evolutionary process? How do you think that came about?
That's a tough one. I think it's kind of both. Some things just evolved, but there are many artists now, even the rap artists that are using string riffs, like violin riffs. Right. I hear it in their rap. So how far is that? Where you've got the violin that was started hundreds of years ago, and you have rap that's maybe 30 years old or whatever, and they've come together. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's pretty phenomenal.
It is.
Yeah, I do hear that a lot in contemporary music. I hear like a basic triad. Like,
he's so creative, he can make his own words up.
Basical. I'm gonna write that one down. We'll use that one. But I hear the same classical themes in contemporary music. You take a lot of like Adele, you take a lot of like One Republic, a lot of Bieber. A lot of that is based on just simple musical classical ideas.
Right.
So yeah.
Now, because I've heard people in classical music, they often say like, Bach and these guys were rock stars.
Yes.
These guys were like the first rock stars.
I tell you, Mozart was the one that was completely off the chain.
Yeah.
Mozart wrote his first piece when he was 4 years old. He wrote his first symphony when he was 6, full-scale opera when he was 10. And yes, I see
what
your.
am I teaching my children? Because I'm thinking my kids know like Xbox.
Yep.
What in the world am I teaching my children?
He was really what happened after him? He influenced so much, and died at 35 years old, and wrote so many symphonies and operas and all of this. So yes, 4 years old. What's your 4-year-old doing?
Right, that's what I'm talking about. Like, Dad, I want some Cheerios. That's about it. Like, he knows how to eat Cheerios. That's about it. Now, I do want to get into this because I think it's very important for musicians. But I want them to hear it from you. It is about reading music. I know. Again, we talked about the creativity and that it's not all creative. Not all just that alone, but. How important is it to read music?
I think it's very important. I think the singer Anita Baker was one that she's a wonderful singer. But I think she actually went back and learned some music theory because she said that she wanted to know what was going on. Even though you may have this gift and she can, sing, she wanted to know so that when she's working with her keyboard player or her horn player, what key am I in? What does this mean? What does this time
that has
signature
to be a
mean?
very bad feeling to not be able to communicate.
Yes. And so I would say, yes, reading music is so important. But there are many artists that don't read music. Michael Jackson didn't read music, but what a musician.
I taught him everything he knows.
You did.
I was there the whole time.
Yeah.
But Wes?
Yeah, it's definitely a necessity to be able to read music. So many times, I'll get asked to play for a wedding, and then they'll say, well, I want you to play this song instead. If I didn't have the ability to read music, then I'd be stuck. So
you know what? That's a good point because again, it goes back to those options and honestly, people are flip flop. They flip flop. Can you do this instead? And you paid me to learn this. I'm playing this. This is what I said. That would be the situation I would find myself in. Like, you said play this song. I listened to the tape over and over again.
That's typically what happens. But sometimes you want to have something to fall back on.
No, that's so true. Now I do know that sometimes people can be a little impatient. But how long does it really take to learn how to read music? No, and is it different for each instrument? The notes different?
Well, for string and horns and flutes and all, they're different. What we call clefs. Like you have a treble clef and a bass clef. You have an alto clef. You have a tenor clef. So there you got 4 clefs, and then you have some like things like French horns that have to actually transpose. So when they see an A on the staff, what comes out of their horn is a 5th lower.
Okay.
So yeah, it's
no, I get it, because I can see the little, what do you call it, the little and sign.
Right,
with
right.
the strings.
Yeah.
I can see it, so I'm like, I get it.
But yeah, I mean, no, learning music takes, but the staff, E, G, B, every good boy does fine for the lines, and FACE for the spaces. That's a very good starting point.
And here's what's funny about it, because first of all, you started speaking Spanish on me, and and no, but it's good because Wes is sitting there going, yeah, I get it. And I'm listening to the camaraderie that musicians have when they find out they can read music. Mm-hmm. It's like a culture in itself. Yeah. And I'm talking about, I've seen people not know each other, but when they find out they can read music together, they something happens, and it's like, oh yeah, where are you going? Oh, you're in A, and it does it. I mean, stress free.
And the thing is, I think last time, if God hadn't really blessed me with pitch, being able to hear pitch, I would be up a creek all the time.
Yeah,
because most of worship music, goes from this key to this key to this key, and if I couldn't hear that, I would always be asking Wes, what key are you guys in? Oh, you're going. Oh, and then we've gone to this key. Oh, I would be very frustrated. So God bless me with that.
Let me explain this, because I don't think Bev is explaining it correctly. But yeah, basically,
oh dear,
Beverly has this gift called perfect pitch. And yes, for all the musicians who don't have that ability, it's the ability to be able to just quickly identify a note. Like if I say what's an A, she can just rattle that off, like it's nothing.
You just do it. Show me. Show me. I want to see it. Just show just to show the note.
That's an A.
See, and I play by ear, but I would have to find like a keyboard or a guitar to kind of hear that A. So she has a very unique gift.
Yeah. And I know that a lot of people, that is the gift that they want, especially singers. They want that perfect pitch. And we had a group in here called 3, and they're actually 3 triplets, and they all do opera music. And they had perfect pitch, and it got them a full scholarship to Harvard.
Nice. Wow.
Because they had perfect pitch.
They're able to hear.
Yeah, and that does have an advantage. But how do you handle now this is my thing. How do you handle it when things are kind of going in its own direction and it's beyond the paper now?
Do you mean in a good
in a good way? In a good way, not in a bad way. In a bad way, stop playing.
Stop. That sounds bad. I'm kind of stuck on that one, dude. Can you reword that for me?
Well, I guess what I'm saying is like, how do you when it's time, when you know that the music's taking its own form? Okay. How do you follow each other? Without
a lot of eye contact.
Yes,
when it's
a lot of like Wes knows when I'm going to end, because I'll look at him and I'll lift my instrument up. It's like, this is the end, and this is we just kind of feel that out.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to.
And we kind of have to be good at reading body language. Because sometimes like a vocalist or soloist will get caught up in
Well, and that's what I was really talking about. Like especially when you're dealing with a singer, and you're like, that ain't on paper. They just, they're still going. So you're watching the body language.
Yes.
And they can't always turn around and give me eye contact if I'm like behind them. Yeah. So I have to watch their movements and stuff like that.
Now, when I first started playing, I liked actually being very close to Wes so that I could see his hands on the keys, just so I could see. Okay, there we go.
So you know your way around the keys too.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because I noticed that whenever I look at a back line with a singer, I notice the drummers and they're always looking at each other. So I look and I'm like, what are they looking at?
Yeah.
like, should they be watching the singer? But they can't, because they need to be watching each other. So what are you looking at when she's playing? You're looking at the way do you know your way around the strings?
I don't, but I've been playing with Bev since 2006, Four.
2004.
Yeah. So I know when she's going to end and when she's going to get bigger and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right.
I kind of know.
Yeah, and usually I'll try to look,
Yeah.
but if it's like really something really hard or something, there's a lot of body language going on, and then when it kind of slows down and gets quiet, less body language.
Yeah.
Well, so he kind of knows what's
Yeah.
going on
Now,
there.
now when you're doing your solos and things like that, and I guess it could go for both of you guys. Are you making up the solos, or is this all the solos are also on paper?
Which solos?
I mean, like whenever when I'm talking about when you're doing the lead, especially with the orchestra, are the solos on paper, or they're saying you can?
No, those are on paper. Those are on sheet music, and I have to do exactly what's on the page.
Got it. So now, do you like making your own music? Have you done that at all?
Well, I haven't. My goal is to write a song at some point. Maybe I'll have Wes help me. I want to write a song because I've seen how as far as writing a song is like lyrics and keys and things, and I'm very, very fascinated by it. And how how do people write songs? Do you sit down at a keyboard?
2014, the new Beverly Baker album.
Do you hear? I don't know. Do you hear it in your head and then write it down? Do you get? I'm just trying to figure that thing out. As far
do you write your own music, Wes?
I mean, I'll write little kiddie songs for my students, but as far as like writing like a big symphony or like a big like concerto, that's definitely not my thing.
Do not use that language on this show. This is Christian radio, buddy.
But I've seen people.
Christian, what they say. You do not talk like that.
Overture and B flat minor. No, but I've seen people walk around with these little like these little like devices, and they'll sing into it so they can go back and play it later. So I've seen it both ways, where they could do it like music first or lyrics first or from ideas. So yeah, all depends, I guess.
But do you have a desire to make your own music? Because I'm trying to make some money right now. I'm like, brother, we can do this.
I'll have to get back to you on that.
I got you, brother. I got you. No, but it's very interesting that because what I get from you guys is that you guys just really love music and you love the ability to bless others, and I think that's why you take it so seriously. So what is so you obviously you said it was more of the orchestra. Mm-hmm. What music do you connect with that? Like when you're going through something, you know what I mean? Is it the old church hymns? What is it that you really connect to when you're going through that brings you peace?
No, Israel for me is Israel Houghton. Me, he's the one that just has it all because he knows music, he knows keys, he knows the spirit of God, he knows the whole package, and just can flow with it.
He changed the game.
He really did.
I remember one day, a church full of choir, the next Sunday, it was a praise team. Like, dang, his song changed everything. His music changed everything. I
think Israel, what's so good about him is like he took gospel music, which was like typically done in like black churches.
Right. And
he made it to where all cultures can perform it and can worship with it.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that in gospel music is just, so crazily creative and spontaneous. Only a certain handful of musicians can actually handle that. But he actually, did it to where he kind of simplified it, but he still kept that power behind the music.
Right.
So I think that he did a great job with that.
So is that you would say the same thing? Is that the artist you say when you're going through something, it'd be Israel?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Well, we got time enough to do one more song. Let's do one more song. Okay. And man, I still want y'all to do that little free jam session thing. I want to see that because I know you guys can do it.
I'm trying to think.
We can do the hymn. We can do Great Is Thy Faithfulness.
Are you serious?
Yeah, let's do Great Is Thy Faithfulness.
This is when Great Is Thy Faithfulness is a song that I feel like that I used to think this. The only reason that they playing this song is because they forgot to prepare for a sermon, and they just wanted to have church, and they would play Great Is Thy Faithfulness because they knew something was going to break out every time. You know what I mean? So let's do it. This
is just for me. Great is Thy faithfulness, morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, His hand has provided. It's so powerful,
and it's the truth.
Yes,
I mean, oh man. So if you're at home, get ready. You're about to have church at home. As long as you don't have church while you're driving, because that's not good. I just feel like being at peace right now. Like I'm ready to go walk on a cloud. Like I saw mountains and birds, flocks of birds. All right, we'll come back in 3, 2, 1. That was truly amazing, and I was saying off air, I was saying how like I have visions of birds flying and. I saw a lily grow. And, saw a school of fish swimming, and it was pretty cool. But I want everyone to be able to get your contact information or your Facebook information. Just in case they want to say, "Hey, you guys playing really blessed us." So how do they get in contact with you?
I am on Facebook, Beverly Kane Baker. Just look me up. I have a picture with my viola, and most of my. Most of my main work is with the Virginia Symphony, but I do play with the praise and worship team at Freedom Fellowship.
Okay. Wes?
Yeah, you can get a hold of me through the same Facebook. My Facebook page is actually my Morning Star Music Learning Center page, where we offer lessons there. So yeah, you can either hit me up on my Facebook page or on Twitter at Wesley Stephenson.
Okay.
Yep.
And when is the album gonna come out again? I'm just threw that out there. She said,
Duke keeps talking. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm telling you,
coming. It's coming.
It's got to happen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, everybody. You're listening to Unplugged right here on the Voice Radio. We love you guys. Make sure you download the apps. Make sure you get in contact with. If you got any questions about the station or questions about any other shows, make sure you contact us. And listen. I tell you what. Expand yourself. Expand your vision. Don't be one dimensional with your choice of music. Because I'm telling you, music connects you to people in so many different ways. We love you guys. This is Unplugged. We're out.